Hey guys, we're back with another video, and today we're going to show you some cool accessories for the Nintendo 3DS. Just before we get started, just reminding you guys to subscribe down below, like this video, and turn on your notifications if you're new to this channel, and comment down below if you have any cool videos that you'd like me to make. So let's get started. So first up, we do have a Nintendo 3DS carrying case. And yes, I am sitting on a beanbag on top of a couch just because. So you can get lots of carrying cases in most stores or online. They do usually come with a games holder that you can just slide in your Nintendo 3DS video games. Like so, as you can see, you can store 3 games in this one, but different 3DS cases do vary on how much games you can carry and the size of the case itself. This one is fairly compact and will fit in most pockets really easily, but there are some bigger cases that I'll get to later. Hard cases are a really nice way to store your 3DS and some extra games and accessories that you may have, and at the same time keep it as safe as possible and drop free. So next up we have the Instant Nintendo 3DS aluminum case. This aluminum Instant Nintendo 3DS case does just snap on your Nintendo 3DS really easily, and it provides a lot more strength to the Nintendo 3DS, and it does make sure that your hinge is not snapped. It is not that easy to put on and take off, and since it's not perfect, because it's not an original Nintendo product, there is a bit of weight on the top screen, so that means that your hinge will become a bit loose, I noticed over the time. But other than that, it's a really stylish way to protect your 3DS. Since it's a bit big and heavy and it won't fit in most normal zip-up cases, you can buy a bundle in which it does come with a bit of a heftier, fatter case that you can just put your 3DS into, and along with the aluminum case, and even play inside of. This case also does hold 3 games like so, and again, gives you maximal protection on your Nintendo 3DS. Unfortunately, this case will not fit inside of any of the other attachments that we're going to be talking about almost, so you cannot charge it in your cradle, and you can't put it in most of the other attachments that you're going to see next. It's also quite a pain to remove from your Nintendo 3DS. Next up, most of you probably, if you own a 3DS, you probably have this accessory. It is a Nintendo 3DS charging cradle, as you see right here. It does come with most of the 3DSs, and you just plop your 3DS on top of it, like so, and bam, it's charging. You do have to plug in the included AC adapter on the back, but other than that, it's a really convenient way to just charge up your 3DS. Next, we have our Nintendo 3DS Circle Pad Pro. Now, this is a bit of a weird kind of grip that does give you extra features, but is it worth it? In order to use the 3DS Circle Pad Pro, you just plop it in, and it connects with the infrared sensor that is located right here. This infrared sensor right here connects to this infrared receiver under there, and then when you plop it on, it connects with your Circle Pad Pro. Basically what the Circle Pad Pro does, it gives you some extra features such as ZR and ZL buttons, and you still get to keep your original buttons, which makes it really good for shooting games, and some games like Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask and Metroid Prime Blast Ball. Not to mention, you get an extra circle pad right there, which is like the original Nintendo 3DS circle pad, as you can see. And when you're playing games, you can use both of these circle pads, kind of like you would any gaming controller with your full triggers. It also makes your 3DS noticeably bigger and a lot more comfortable to use for long periods of time, while keeping all your ports open. You cannot, again, put this in your charging cradle or some cases, but it's still a great thing to have at home. Note that any of the new 2DS or new 3DS models and the new 3DS XL are not compatible with this because they already have all these extra controls. Instead of the circle pad, they do have this tiny little nub right here, and they do include all of the ZL and ZR buttons that the original 3DS does not have, but the circle pad offers. Next up, we have our plastic hard game cases. These provide excellent protection for your games that you don't have cases for, or if you're just taking them on the go, and they can carry and come in a variety of sizes from 2 or 4 games like this small one to up to 64, 32 games, or like this one, 8 games per case, which is a really nice feature. Keep in mind to make sure that it says Nintendo DS or Nintendo 3DS, depending on which game you have. Nintendo 3DS ones are compatible with original DS and 3DS games, but most Nintendo original DS hard plastic covers are not compatible with the 3DS games. Next up, we have extra styluses. Now these come in a variety of colors and different sizes and shapes, and are really helpful when you lose your own stylus, or if you want a more comfortable, longer stylus to use. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. But we have our stand. This one was found at Dollar Tree, but you can use stands such as Wii U stands or any other stand that does work on a 3DS. You can see right here, this is really nice for collectors, or if you want to put your 3DS or even any other gaming console on the shelf. It just kind of displays it nicely, and you can close your 3DS, or if you even have a Nintendo Switch, you can use it to prop up any console right here. And also, you do have different sizes, and for $1, I'd say you get a lot of bang for the buck. Just reminding you guys to subscribe, like this video, and comment down below if this helped you, and turn on your notifications so you'll be the first one to see all our next videos. Next up, we have our Nintendo 3DS big padded cases. These are really, really great, and I do recommend them, especially if you're taking your 3DS or all your accessories to friends' houses. What these cases can do, they have Velcro, and you can store extra styluses right here. You can store 3 of them, and you can store 2 more large comfort styluses in this pouch. You do have a wide middle slot that you can put any stuff in. I don't know what it would be, but you can put like bigger accessories that you may have, like the Nintendo 3DS Circle Pad Pro, or your charging cradle if you want right there. And then you can store up to 2 Nintendo DS consoles, or according to the picture, it does say 1 car charger and 1 Nintendo DS. Or in my case, I can just store 2 consoles, or maybe 1 big 2DS in here easily. It does zip up very easily and adds a lot of padded protection, and just Velcros when you're done. And then on the back, I mean, you do have a handle right here, and you do have like this nice strap that I took off mine, but you can strap it on your shoulder, which is also pretty sweet. So right here, we're gonna unzip the back. You do have a back side to it, and what you see right here, you can hold tons of games inside of this. 20 to be exact. You can store 20 Nintendo 3DS or DS games, and once I actually stored some coins in here. And then right here you have a pouch that just kind of like leans on this strap thing that you can put in, according to this picture, your headphones and your cleaning cloth, or whatever other accessories you may have. This is a pretty big pouch, and it will take care of almost anything. So this was the Nintendo 3DS large carrying case. Up next, we have our Nintendo 3DS NFC reader and scanner. This is great if you like to use amiibos, but you have an original Nintendo 3DS or 2DS that cannot scan them. Keep in mind again that the Nintendo new 3DS and new 2DS XLs can actually read amiibos just by tapping them onto the screen like so. But the original 3DSs cannot do that. So in order to operate this, you just turn on whatever app or game you're using, or even just from the home menu, and you scan your amiibo just by placing it on and lining up your infrared sensor with the amiibo sensor's infrared. And that's basically how it works, and it lets you play all amiibos and any games that work with them, and it's a really, really cool thing. These are relatively expensive, but you can find them every now and then at GameStop for really cheap. And finally, we have car chargers, but that's relatively self-explanatory what they do. You just plug it into your car cigarette lighter, and then you plug this into your 3DS, and voila, you get a bit more battery throughout your trip. So that was all for our video about Nintendo 3DS accessories. If this video helped you, please make sure to subscribe, like this video, and turn on your notifications so you'll be the first one to see all our upcoming videos, and thanks for watching.